essentially like an online version of my class. So I post the assignments or I post the announcements. Students can turn in their assignments on Google Classroom, but it's just a digital way since they all have
So it's for
Chromebooks.
all their classes?
Mhm. They should have a Google Classroom for each class.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so is it already set up for them, or do they have to kind of do something?
So when they go into their classes, the teachers probably, I would say they all have already done it,
Mhm.
where like it'll be in their syllabus, but then they post on the board saying, hey, join my Google Classroom. If a student is like, I'm not in there, I don't know the code, the teachers can manually add them as
Okay.
well. So that's not a problem too.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Huh?
Yeah, and he can show you, like here, I can actually show you what it would look like for essentially. So I have all the teachers on mine, but he'd pull up, and while I have tons of classes, he would have his 7 classes, because he'd have his advisory, and then he'd have all that. So if I go into the freshman class right here,
So is our parent portal do the same thing, or just for the student?
so with this one, what's the name?
Jacob Bryant.
Bryant? I don't see Bryant on here, but I can add him here actually. Oh, I forgot there's wrong AMT.
So it doesn't look like he's.
Jacob? Yeah, so I just invited him to the freshman one.
Okay.
And then, let's see. It's just thinking. So when, well now it's gonna take its time to think. But, oh, there we go. So like the stream of the classroom, they'll get the announcements and different things. And then if he goes to the classwork for his classes, like for this, they've posted these assignments or these things. So that's where he's gonna kind of access anything digital from all of his classes. So each class has its own digital classroom.
Pretty totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's, he would only see his classes and his information, even though they'd all, like a lot of students would all be parts of, like, students in that roster. He won't see anybody else's stuff.
Question, parent.
Yeah, so on this, and that's actually a good point. Let me see if I can add you guys real quick.
Oh, we're the grandparents. We're
That's okay.
sub.
Yeah, well, and you can give me the name or email of the parent. I think it'll be once he joins, actually, I forgot about that. Here, what class, do you know any of the classes that he's in?
It's in robotics.
Robotics?
Yeah. I know it's
Oh, I think I only have advisories. Okay. But what the teacher can do is how I invited him, the teacher can then invite the parents. And then it would be the parents' side of it. So they would see the announcements, they would see the things that are posted, but they wouldn't be a student on the roster. The
Right.
parents wouldn't, yeah.
They'd be able to see. the
Oh, yeah.
information.
Absolutely, yeah, because they'll get updates from Google
Okay,
Classroom.
but will the teacher automatically do it, or does she?
It should automatically. Sometimes we'll have to manually if if the system doesn't do it on its own, but it should be added automatically.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's a lot. I'm trying to see if I should. Yeah, it's just a lot.
We can send it out to freshman parents, right?
Right. Maybe I'll just do it that. I'll keep it and just whatever. Because it's all good information. That's the thing where I'm like, oh,
It's hard to cut out, so you can send it and then they can review it again.
yeah.
And the ones who weren't able to come.
Right. Half of the class, you mean?
Well, so last year, I came, was it in this weekend?
Yeah.
I Like, I came last year, but I'm so overwhelmed.
It gets wild.
I'm just starting my own school year and
Yeah,
limited time, whatever, that.
I know, and that's where I'm like, maybe I'll just say, we're gonna send this out so you can read through more detailed, however,
And then ask questions.
yeah, yeah. And then I'll just kind of
Because
skip it.
I don't know, because I have this system, the English system, but typically you can pick classes, like,
Mhm.
you can freshman,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely send out to just freshmen. So, because yeah, it's like I don't talk about internship other than just mentioning that that's an opportunity later on, because that's not anything they can do until they're seniors anyway. And I mentioned job shadowing, but I don't go into it because they can't do it yet. So I do talk about blue credit because they can do automotive, construction, some business classes as sophomores. Otherwise, like the science and math you can't until you're junior, senior. But tomorrow, well, actually, no. I bet you I'm gonna have a ton of kids who are taking college algebra come to the dual credit meeting. But college algebra is only a spring dual credit. Excuse me. But pre-calc, first semester is college algebra. So they sign up for college algebra, but then I have other college algebra students that will see it and say, oh, I'm in college algebra. And so then they sign up and I'm like, I know, well, and I reiterate it and then, because I'll do, tomorrow is just WSU Tech and they do their meeting and that's about it. We don't really have much time tomorrow. And then Thursday, I bring in my junior seniors and I walk them through and I have stations with like the steps and photos of everything so they can do it on their own. And most of them should be fine because most of them have done it a couple of times with, because I think it's been this program for 2 years. So my sophomores will be a little bit harder, but there's usually this job is crazy. I just want to be an admin. That's all I wanted. And then when Bree went to the district, her position was open, and I said, I want that. Like I want to apply because Lewis sent out an email.
And she
Mhm.
was
She was with.
teacher in middle school.
Mhm.
when we was there.
Yeah, and then she moved to AP here.
Okay.
Well, then when she moved to district, I was like, I want that job, like that's it. And I loved being in the classroom. But when it opened, I was like, Ryan, I don't know if I'm gonna do my husband. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get another shot. Like, I think I need to try. Well, then Mel just moved over, and then Lewis came up and he goes, you know, this is a good stepping stone to get to be an AP. And I was like, just like this. No, this is not a stepping stone. Honestly, I'm like, this is so overwhelming. Well, and it's hard because like some of the stuff with KSDE and the pathways and like I get the pathways, don't get me wrong, but like the course coding and things like that, I'm still learning and I have to work with KSDE every single year because I'm like, stop. But and it's all the classes, and so we have to, in order to have a pathway here, so like our automotive classes, you have to have your intro courses, your technical courses, and your application courses. So we have our intro to industrial arts and something else, and then we have Gen Service 2, and then Gen Service 3 is the application, and then they can do an internship, any pathway you can do internships in. But I get that. I don't get it. It's like we have a code, then the state has a code. They don't match. There's no rhyme or reason. We name it something, but the state names it something different. But there's no, and I'm like, can't it be the same thing? And yeah, I don't get it either. For the college person, yeah, Emily Jones.
So that is like the CCC people into
Oh, okay.
college and career counseling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're helping set up custodians.
Yeah.
They're working.
And we haven't always had I'm already like, ah. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's not. I was duped. But the reason why I think they made me admin is because the high school was growing. They couldn't justify a whole new position, but they could justify making us an admin. But I don't have more time. Because all the IPS stuff with the state, and that's like huge graduation requirements or keysables, like it's huge. That's also me. And that's another full time, like I just don't have time. Yeah. I don't think they understand, honestly. Mhm. He just retired. I saw him at KACTE at the conference, and he is now working with NCCER for like certifications and construction and all that stuff. And he's like so nice. He goes, no stress at all. Yeah, I'm sure. Like I think about like bigger districts and they have people doing this. Yeah.
Well, and I suck in a lot more as a self because we were doing on the classes they were doing online.
That's cool.
So they
That's
were
cool.
so like the kids.
Yeah. I saw Newton had a cool like thing because we went and toured over there because we sometimes students will go through Newton/through Hutch from us, which even that, how does all of this work? But it's all been set, and I know we have our agreements, I know we have all of the things, and I get it, but I don't get it. You know, like it's.
I was confused. She's really good at something.
And then she went because she. Yeah. Well, and that's what. Right, well, and that's what they said was, they said that if you ever wanted to keep somebody in this position, you would have to make it like an admin or pay them what an admin make. And even though, like, there's so much stuff. Oh my gosh, trying to find time is ridiculous. Right? Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. I have this conversation with my husband all the time. Yeah. And I do, I enjoy the student interaction. I enjoy all of that. It's just a lot. Yeah.
You ran them all off?
I did. I yelled at him. It's fine. You're gonna get some complaints later.
She's the term. Failed.
Yeah.
You will be.
We're not allowed to fail.
That's right. I don't remember who I told today, but I guess the freshmen only heard from me to do a legal advice.
Oh, that's all I heard.
What?
That's what they took from your message.
Oh my
Because I
God.
said if you do anything, don't do it on
Yeah.
school grounds. And the freshmen took it as, well, that means I can do something on school grounds, all right. This is why I
And you
couldn't
say,
handle middle school but for a year.
Everybody should have to do time.
I taught for 6 years in middle school, but my first 7th grade class, 5 kids total.
Oh my gosh.
I taught oh my gosh, my first year, and this is a private school, so I made $27,500. Yeah, and I taught 4th and 5th combined English, 6th and 7th combined English, 8th grade English, 6th grade and 7th grade and 8th grade English. It's 6 preps. 27. Your first
That is my favorite one.
And I don't do this, I let you know.
Man, it's so much cooler in the gym.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Cafeteria.
it's so hot here.
Emily, you there? Busy. People coming in and asking.
Paying for lunch.
Trying to get my skid,
Does
kids'
anybody want to
schedule.
walk back there and make an announcement? Or do we
You're gonna
care?
announce your new phone.
No, it was broke last night. Oh, did he fix it? He did fix it because we were out at football practice. Did you?
Oh, I heard it.
Have you checked? He said he's up for what, something to just call the office.
Flight in the office?
Go ahead.
Could somebody in there announce over the speaker system that you want to meet new admin and ask them questions? You can do so now on that point.
I can do that.
No, but our boss is out there talking about coming in here to see if we're going to song him in.
Nope, not happening.
That was in Taylor.
Two little
Those two got together.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Cheerleaders and everything. Yeah.
I remember one of my years, it was one of our birthdays, and nobody dressed in cheerleader outfits, but they got like cymbals and they were walking down the hall, like making
That was our
noises.
whole
and-
idea.
Yeah, I loved that. Or,
It's the
or,
worst day of my life.
or, what was another thing?
No, the worst day of my life was when I had to get up there and do that stupid family feud
I have a
crap.
picture of that, because I wasn't here. They did Family Feud, and they
All
were
the
the,
admin team.
where is it the, like,
Yeah, it was a skit.
Attention families, if you would like to meet our new admin team, they are in the auditorium for a Q&A session. Thank you.
that was great.
So what did you have to do?
It was the Clampets versus the,
That was perfect, thank you.
some monster, I can't remember the
Yeah.
guy's name. I was on the monster.
Yeah, that,
Sounds fun.
I'll just show the picture at some point.
No, we had to dress up. That's
Are you
not
a fun
fun.
vampire, Kim? Is that what it is?
I'll tell you what I am. I'm a fun sucker. Suck the fun out of everything.
Fun vampire.
I liked when Lewis was leaving, he was gonna be gone during our end of the year celebration
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah.
And so Gibson
Yep.
took all the admin pictures to kindergartners, and he first showed Lewis's picture. And then he's like, all right, you're gonna
All the
remember that.
assistants.
Yeah, so he took Lewis's picture, and he goes, okay, I'm gonna lay it out, and he points to that picture. So they laid out all the assistants and not Lewis. God. So he had to get up there and get silly
I have a
straight.
feeling you're gonna be enough of an audience for us.
There's no way.
my friends.
There's no way.
We're so good, they have 0 questions for us.
I don't think people could let the announcement out there.
It was so good in here.
Crystal
It's
clear.
clear in here, I don't know.
Yeah, I want a large Big Mac also, and the number 3 supersize, whatever you were saying on that intercom.
And
Movie
we sent
reference.
it out by text.
Wayne's World? Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Bridge, anybody?
Yeah.
Wayne's World? Where he goes up to the thing, he's like, I'd like a, and a.
I believe it.
Hi, Madeline Lee. Hi, Karen. How are you? Pretty good. Have you been playing volleyball?
No, I don't believe it, so it really hurts.
What?
She's still with she's still practicing.
Are
Soccer
you there
practice got canceled.
today?
Yeah.
Better.
I emailed Striker on Friday, she was supposed to play a game yesterday at 5.
That was like
Friday morning, I was like,
2:47.
hey, what official policy? I sent it through my school email, so they would maybe have a little bit more.
That's funny.
So, and then they canceled. So, but it was 130, she played 2 weekends ago, 137 games.
On the third.
Oh my gosh,
He's going to
that's miserable.
the web ball
Oh,
test.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just weird to
Apparently you
say.
guys don't
Yeah.
have a lot of good things to say.
I guess not.
I said, what are the odds of us walking in first?
We are
It's not even-
perfect so far. Against the Philippines.
It's not good to
Did you do this earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had,
it was scattered 20
Well-
across. Yeah, well, more people started coming in.
The fish was this big.
It's hot, it gets
It's
hot.
nice spread now.
There are a couple of classrooms.
That is
We're still
a,
working.
I like the way they did that.
it's less chaotic.
Yeah.
It's more orderly.
Well, hopefully we don't have to deal with 100+ degree temps for,
This, I mean, the heat advisor goes through the 24th. That's all, through Thursday night. Right
And I was
now.
not excited about middle school tennis at 6:15 in the morning, and I said, go out tonight and try to play tennis, and you'll be really excited.
Our tennis got moved up there.
Yeah, I saw.
oh, the matches?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll-
I had one girl who goes to WSU Tech, so I was like, hey guys, she can't go. So, they just start 30.
3 minutes ago.
yeah, I'm glad you said something, because I was thinking to myself, did I just walk in on the tail end?
Yeah.
With like a 3-minute speech and I just missed it all? What the heck?
We were walking in and we heard him talking and she was like, so it's like 6:30 walking, we go, never mind.
Baby, your daddy's not quiet. Like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There is a freshman thing here in a couple minutes too. In case you want to hear. It's
I'm
really
past
good.
that point. Yeah, we don't care about the
You guys
freshmen.
don't-
Yeah.
I didn't recognize Reagan the other night when she was talking.
Oh, yeah, for the
I
golf
was
thing?
like, I didn't even recognize.
She changed a lot. What grade is she? She'll be a sophomore, or she gets a sophomore. Okay, yeah,
She'll be a
sophomore.
sophomore.
Yeah.
So year started, that's
She
what
will
we're
still
doing.
be one.
Start.
She'll still be.
My kids don't start until Wednesday.
See, I feel like we started so early this year. I don't know what it is with that, but it feels so weird.
Start early and get out early.
Do we? I guess I didn't know what
Compared to a lot of
the
the
out.
others.
and this
We do
month's
have fairly
utility
long
bill's
school
gonna be
days too, it just
expensive.
I bet with this 110-degree weather, I bet you're wishing we would have started a week later.
But, I mean, sports, Keisha
Yeah.
would have started no matter what, they started
Yeah, it would
Monday.
have
so.
started already.
Last week was all right when they first started, so they got at least a week worth of practice in before they have to go through this. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
true.
I don't know this section very well, but I am Aaron Clayton, principal, just in case you ever need one. I don't know if you need to know their names or not.
Hi, I'm Kim Baldwin, and I have alphabet P through Z. So Miss Miranda Bond is my counselor too. And I think we said earlier, we will all help no matter what your name is, but at least gives you a place to start.
I'm Kent Hip, and my partner is Mrs. Fields, and we have H through O is our alphabet.
So what's with the alpha? I mean, I know the counselors were broken up, I didn't realize admin.
Yep, last names, just so we have a focus. So if we have a student who's
They can work
needs
together.
assistance in some way.
Oh, okay.
They tend to try to discipline that out.
In some schools divided by grade level, which in some instances is, and they follow them through, which can be good, can be bad.
Or academy or pathway.
Yeah.
It just depends on what building you're in, how you kind of divide up your student body.
I like this because you can keep your families, like you get to know a family as opposed to a student.
And I don't know if you noticed, but the really tall guy who's been walking around every once in a while, Chad Wilmot, he's been around here for a while. He's the other guy.
D through G.
D through G. And the reality of it is it does make it nice because Wilmot,
And then
Kristen.
I'm Kristen Allen, and I have A through C. But then I also do the post-secondary programs, so college, career, all of that, and I have no alphabet for that. It's everybody.
And Mr. Wilmot does, he's the athletic and activities director, so he does that for everybody as well. And so that's why we split that one into, in halves.
they do a lot. And as you can see, I do nothing.
I have a slide that proves that wrong. Yeah.
He knows.
True leadership.
True. Are there any specific questions that you do have?
Well, and one of the things is, at the beginning of the year, we did try to start it off with more of a cultural relationship type deal with the Link crew on that first day for freshmen to get them linked to some upperclassmen so that they can get them involved. That's the main thing that you need to at least preach if you have freshmen, is get them involved in something, anything, get them vested so that it's just not academics. It's a time to have fun as well. And being involved will help with that aspect. But if you have input on, that first day for us, we're more than willing to listen and take that and try to improve upon what we did with those students. One of the changes that we did make in years past, it was kind of a one and done with Link Crew, but this year we're going to have them try to meet up with their particular freshman group during advisory throughout the school year, so that they still have those individuals that they can go to. And we're going to encourage the upperclassmen to try to get the freshmen involved in things as well. So.
I was going to say, and that's a lot with the Link crew. It could be, hey, here are some study tips. Finals are coming up. Let's work through what are your study habits, what do they look like, and study guides for the finals, things like that. But then it could also be, hey, there's a football game coming up. Like, come join the students section and let's get involved. So it goes beyond, it's not just academics or just culture, it's Hornets.
One of the things that we did this year was put a theme to our school year as well. You'll hear us say, you'll see a lot of it in communications, and you might have your kids come home and say, make today count. One of the things we continued to hear as we were coming in as a new team was getting kids to feel the value and the importance of being on time, of being in attendance, passing classes, and progressing through to graduation. And so we try to push all of our students to understand every day builds. And it's not really about being in class on time, it's about being able to be employed later. And if you don't show up at your job, whatever that is, you're probably not going to be employed at that job very much longer. And so getting them to understand this is preparation and this is training for you to be able to be productive community members later and to be able to hold a position, whether that's at a restaurant, whether that's at Spirit, whether that's at Coke, or whether that's in a school building, whatever it is, you don't show up, your paycheck's going to be real lean. And eventually you're going to be let go. So it is important to be there. It's important to be on time. It's important to contribute. And then to get our freshmen to understand right off the bat that it is different than middle school. It's a different requirement. Even if you passed 26 credits of elective, you still have to have 4 credits of English, and you have to pass English to be able to earn that high school diploma. And so that's a really hard understanding and transition sometimes for our students to make that connection. So getting them to understand that today contributes to tomorrow, that contributes to next week, and as our grades progress, that way you're not feeling the punishment your senior year of having 3 English classes, 2 science classes, and no electives. That's a real bummer. We want our kids to enjoy their time as they go through, but they have to do something ahead of time because it all builds. They have to make each day count. So you'll be hearing that, and you'll see that on communication too as we continue to talk with kids.
Do you have a question? You look like you're about to say something.
No questions. Okay.
I do know, and I'll try to say this better than I probably did in the last one, but our doors are always open as administration. Wilmot may be tall and scary, but he's not. Alan's one of the sweetest people I know. Hip knows everything, and then there's Baldwin. But
I'm just the short one.
she's one of the most caring individuals I've ever met. And as a team, it's one of the funnest teams I've ever worked with. But on that note, if you need something from us, please let us know. If you or someone you know has a posting problem of going ahead and posting what their issue is rather than saying it to anyone, we would just appreciate the phone call too. That way we can try to help out the best that we can. The more we know, the better we can do. We may not be able to help in every situation, but we will certainly listen. And I think that's one of the major things that we want to put out there. So if you need anything from us, don't hesitate. I'd say our doors are always open, but some days can be busier than others, but we'll get back to you as soon as we can with an open door and try the best we can from that standpoint.
I do maybe Tip can answer this since he's been around a while.
OG?
How did the drug dogs do last year, and are they bringing them back?
Yes, we are bringing them back. They did, the nice thing about it is inside the building, whenever we had searches within classrooms, they did not find or hit on anything, which is nice. They did hit on a few vehicles, but most of the time that's because there was prescription drugs or there may have been residue from a long weekend or something like that, but nothing was found. Let's just put it that way. Nothing was found, but it did hit on some vehicles in the parking lot, and so we have to contact and do a search of the vehicle and all that. But
So if they were to hit, then you have to contact officer, because the one I understand, we don't really have any.
we have our own SRO.
We have our own SRO that we can use.
That we use, and he's
If we're
through
asking-
Valley Center, but
Yeah. If we're asking them to do it, then they can help step in with what is needed. But for the most part, we will be the ones searching. We will be the ones.
Sure.
Well,
No, I understand
but if
that.
there happens to be
if the
Well,
drug,
actually,
actually, if the drug dog hits on it, the one that's going through the car is the trainer, not us at all.
Sure. So you heard a lot, I heard nothing about it. Once we did the meeting and they talked about it, I heard not one word about dogs.
Oh, I heard them.
Did you?
I was shocked. I was shocked
I
at
have to find
how-
out who you're talking to, because I'm not hearing anything.
They show up and all of a sudden every kid in school hurt. Like, how did this go through so quick?
I heard all kinds of.
Well,
Stuff was going on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing.
I was shocked.
We have no idea when they're showing
Yeah.
up. They just show up and it's like, oh, and sometimes it's not the best time. It's like, really?
That
But
last
anyways, they show up and it doesn't take but 5 minutes and the kids are, because the first time they showed up, which was a mistake of ours, we had a bunch of kids going out to their vehicles and we're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, that's
Once they
what I
show
heard.
up, once you show up, you're not leaving the building,
Kids
so.
were leaving,
Yeah.
street cars off.
Yeah.
And that was just what I was scared of.
Yeah, it did happen the first time and that was,
We will go into a holding place as soon as we know they're here.
yeah.
We'll give you
And we'll let everybody
heads
know.
up, they were pulling in Valley.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they do it last minute, but as soon as we know, it's very easy for us to just go, hey, teachers, hold your kids for right now, check your email. And then we will send out a message to everyone as soon as we can to let you know what's going on.
I think one was like a drop off. I'm pretty sure I saw a girl walk in the car and drop off on there. So,
They're so cool to watch work.
Yeah.
And I know that kids will embellish stories by all means. They're not sniffing your children. They're not searching their person. The kids are in the classroom. They will search possessions. They'll search the classroom. They'll search desks, lockers, those kind of things. They're not jumping on your children, those kind of things. So they're
Yeah,
really awesome.
if they come
to
in and
watch
search a
work.
classroom, and it's
The
random too,
students
they'll
exit.
pick the classroom, we just walk into that teacher's classroom, we say you need to leave everything in the classroom and exit. And they go out in the hall. Once they're out in the hall, the dog goes in and it does what it
Now are they
needs to do.
certified dogs?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just.
They have to
I come
be.
from a law enforcement background, that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking some of these questions.
Yeah.
I wasn't retired.
I used to make fun of my brother was a dog handler for a while, and I would just laugh and say, like, when are you going to be trained? Because it seemed like he was in school with that dog all the time, because they have to certify every 6 months. So they were constantly in training.
And they are passive, so when they hit, they sit. That was not the case when Valley Center PD had their own dog, and we had some issues with that. It was a scratcher, and it got on some vehicles, and then we were, it's not
For a
pretty.
paint job, huh?
It was not pretty, so,
They do get tired of working, so it may take a little time. Because sometimes they need a break or they need rewarded or something of that nature. And that's the other guy.
I'm Chad Lamont.
Okay, well, cool, I'm glad to hear that they actually nothing actually came out of it.
Yeah.
What you're hoping for is
Right.
they don't want you to bring up
Yeah.
to school. Cool.
Well, once again, if you need anything from us, let us know. I think you're up.
I am? All right.
If you're a freshman parent and want to stay, or freshman student, there's more information. It was really Kimberly.
I'm struggling yet.
I'm sorry, I'm staring at a little device.
I 100% did. Okay.
Nope, it's black.
So black, yeah.
It's like a wet ball, so you gotta take it out there and it's on color.
That is awesome. Well, I'm excited. So then, this is only a semester that will be in this semester. So if she's interested in EMT, we can try for that course too. So, yeah. All right. So if you are in here, it means you are either a freshman or you have a freshman, or you just want information about being successful, which is great for everybody. So, I have a lot of slides with a lot of information. We're going to be sending this out to all freshmen and parents as well. So I'm going to kind of skim through a couple slides because I thought I was losing a little bit of my freshmen the first meeting. So because it's just a lot. With high school, there are so many things that you can do now as freshmen to help you be successful, and communication is huge. We send out communication in so many different ways. So parents, you might get stuff from Infinite Campus, we might send it out through Messenger. Students, you guys get it through the daily announcements. You have the lunchroom slides, you have your teachers, you have emails. The front office does kind of a Canva with all the daily announcements that they'll send out to the emails. You have tons of information, check it. That's the biggest thing, okay? I deal with a lot of student opportunities, and I can't sit and talk to every single person every single time. And so just to kind of speed the process, I put it in all the announcements. And I do want you guys to be aware of what's out there. Other things, Google Classroom. For students especially, do make sure you are checking your Google Classroom because your teachers post information in there all the time. Parents, if you are new to Google Classroom, there's an option for a parent or guardian to be added. It's a very simple process. You can just email the teacher, but then instead of showing up in the roster of Google Classroom, you get all the information and you don't have missing assignments. So instead, don't just join the Google Classroom using your student's code because that will put you on the roster and assign you things. But there is that parent option where you can get that information. Also, our website. It is amazing with all the information. I have a couple slides down that I'll show you where I would go for specific information, but it is a lot more friendly on the phones, which I absolutely love. But do check the website. Facebook posts a lot of stuff, Twitter, we put out tons of information. All right, so students, these tips are for you to be successful in high school. The first thing is to be on time. Our classes are only 50 minutes long, and so yes, we have the bell ringers and things like that at the beginning, but then teachers, they're going to jump right into it because they want to teach you the content, practice with you, and then allow you enough time to practice on your own. And so you have to be there on time or else you're going to miss out on valuable instruction, right? That is probably the best tip I can give you for success. I could end this presentation now and you guys would be okay, as long as you're on time to your classes, but there's more. Listen and participate in class. I taught for 10 years, and I understand there are kids who want to participate a ton, and then the other end of it where people don't want to participate at all. Do participate as much as you feel comfortable, but the more you participate in class, the teachers can better gauge where your understanding is, and they can help you either reach to get the success criteria to meet the learning intention, or they can push you even further if you do get it. Communicate with your teachers and ask questions. Once again, I understand there's some times where you don't want to raise your hand in class in front of everybody. Talk with your teachers and work something out. I had students where they would put a sticky note on their desk. And I knew if that sticky note was there, I'd have to walk by and talk to them at some point, but they didn't want to make a big scene out of it, okay? Teachers will work with you and they want to work with you, but they need to know how to work with you, okay? So you have to communicate with them and let them know, like, hey, I have these questions. And now it might be an email. It might be during class. Sorry, I switched those. In class, in an email. It could be maybe you go in before or after school and you work with them. It could be during advisory time on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So during, and for parents in case you don't know, during advisory on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, it's time for students to go and get help that they need in specific classes. It might be making up an assignment, it might be working on an assignment, making up a test, working on an assignment, or just getting additional help. Students, another thing you guys need to do is to develop and maintain a homework routine. Routines are good for any age, so don't think like, oh, I'm not a kid. Get in a routine. If you have your habit, you're going to be more likely to stick with it. So it could be, hey, school's done. I'm going to go home. I'm going to relax for a minute because I earned it. 7 hours worth of classes, that's a lot. Like, you guys do a lot. Take a break, but then make yourself start your homework before, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, okay? No, it is not the best time. You need your sleep. I will tell you. I used to think like, oh, my children are young. They need the most sleep. It's high school students need the most sleep. So you may think it, but it's your lack of sleep talking. That's what it is. Also, admin said it earlier, get involved. It makes school so much more fun. I walked the track with all of the tables. We have tons of clubs. And if you don't see a club that you want, come and talk to us, because if it's something that you're passionate about and you want to help start a club, we have to get a sponsor. There's certain protocol that we have to follow, but we start clubs all the time, okay? Listen to and read announcements. I know I just talked about communication, but this is how important it is to listen to those announcements, especially the lunchroom announcements. I'll put things up all the time, okay? And I need you guys to see it, whether it's, hey, you guys don't have dual credit, but my dual credit meeting announcements are up there right now. And that's very important because I guarantee you guys, I'm gonna have kids that are gonna come up at the end of the week and they're gonna be like, so when are you gonna do dual credit meetings? And I'll be like, oh, I've literally said it on the intercom, but it's fine. So do read those announcements. See your counselor and administrator. If you guys have questions, know that you are not doing high school alone. And parents, you don't have to figure out high school alone. We want to help you guys, and sometimes we need to know what it is that you need, okay? And then also take advantage of after-school tutoring. We didn't talk about this this last time, but we're going to start right after Labor Day. That Wednesday is when we're going to do it. A lot of our teachers who usually help with our tutoring after school are involved in a lot of fall sports and coaching and things like that. So we're going to try to get as much tutoring as we can, but we're going to start with our Wednesdays. So do take advantage of after-school tutoring. And students, you guys get snacks too, so it's benefit. I know, food works wonders. All right, for our attendance policy, just know that you guys have 10 discretionary days. Parents and guardians can call in for whatever reason, 10 days. Any additional absences without supporting documentation is considered unexcused. So if you've met your 10 days in that semester and you have a doctor's appointment, get your doctor's note, okay? So then it can be excused. Students arriving to class over 15 minutes late will be counted absent. Remember, it's 50-minute classes, so if you miss 15 minutes of that, that's a lot of information that you're missing, okay? Students will be considered to have 1 unexcused absence for every 3 tardies to that class, okay? Not just any classes, but that class. And then your absences will start over at semester. So then in the spring, you have another 10 discretionary absences. 10 absences are a lot, though, okay? Excused absences would be any school-related absences. Illnesses, if you have a doctor's note or a doctor's appointment, you have a doctor's note. Funerals with prior notification, and then admin-approved absences. All right, dress code, nothing has changed, but just a reminder, the bottom of the shirt must meet the top of the pants when standing comfortably. Like if they reach up for something, then it's fine. But if they're just standing naturally, we ask that the bottom of the shirt reach the top of the pants. Shorts must be an appropriate length. Anything that includes profanity, double meanings, alcohol, violence, anything like that, we're not going to stand for that. That's not what it means to be a Hornet. Students usually will be asked to turn their shirt inside out, or we have other shirts that they can change into as well. Body painting is not a substitute for clothing. I was not employed during this time, but it was just there. All right, parent and guardian tips. Parents, ask and visit with your children about school. It could just be as simple as, what did you learn today? Having them retell that information helps it stick better in their brain. The best way to learn something is to teach it. So if you can just get them to tell you about their day. You might not know AP Chem, you might not know what's going on, but if they can retell it to you, it's going to help them better. Support and encourage your student. A couple here. Oh, there we go. Whether it's just encouraging them. And freshmen, high school, there are some classes that are going to be hard. School's supposed to be hard. If you knew it all, then you wouldn't need to come here, right? So school is supposed to be hard, and it's okay to not do well, but it's not okay to give up. So if you don't do well, what am I going to do? I'm going to do after school tutoring. I'm going to go in before and after school. I'm going to try to retake this test, and I'm going to get better. But our students, and parents, you can attest to this, they need to know that life isn't, you're not going to succeed in everything that you do the first time anyway. So giving that encouragement to keep going and keep trying, that's what they need from parents, definitely. Positivity, responsibility, I mean, you guys know this.
Pardon the interruption, but parents, if you would join us down in the Shindig area, the Collins area at this time, we'd greatly appreciate it. We check out all the clubs and colleges that we have to offer here this evening. Students, don't forget to hang out at the Shindig and play some volleyball. All our teachers, that concludes the open house portion of this evening. Have a great evening.
Okay, I'll go through this. We'll be sending it out. Parents assist with homework routine. I have young children, and luckily I can understand what they're doing yet still, but there's going to come a time where there's going to be an assignment, and I'm going to say, I have no idea what it is, but I can help them with making sure that they're setting time and devoting time to that. Communicate with the teachers, email, call, parent-teacher conferences, and then communicate with counselors and admin. If something's going on and you feel like we should know, absolutely let us know. If you have questions, reach out to teachers. They're not too scared. All right, importance of engagement. You guys know this, students, we've talked about this in our freshman meetings. Get involved. You can make more friends. It makes high school fun. You can find new passions. You get to kind of explore. A lot of our clubs also deal with a lot of the pathways that we offer here at the school. So get involved. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, Mr. Clayton, he does do a lot. I know you guys said, or he jokes that he didn't, but with students, he's always looking for student feedback. He's always trying to promote culture. So if there's something that you guys see, or you guys have questions, or you guys are like, hey, I have a better idea, we want to hear it. And definitely Mr. Clayton does as well. I'm going quickly. We already went through this. Students, you guys know this, but parents, you can just look at your last name, and that's who helps you out. I'm also with post-secondary for all students. We have Ms. Jones, who's a college advisor. She primarily works with our seniors and our juniors, but she can obviously help with anything. But if you guys are interested in, and actually I'll kind of go off for a second, freshmen, right now, there's no college opportunities freshman year. There's not the internship, there's not the job shadowing. However, your grades are extremely important because your GPA, that's going to be something that's going to allow you to get into dual credit classes. You have to have a minimum of 2.0 GPA, which is not hard, but you've got to take your classes seriously. Internship, you apply for that your senior year, and you get to spend 2 hours out of the school day doing an internship with something that you're passionate about. How cool is that? These are things you're going to be working towards. So this year is extremely important because it really sets the precedence, because you don't want to have to waste an opportunity because you have to double up on English, right? So make sure that you're passing your classes and you're doing well. Okay, this is our website. A lot of the stuff I deal with is listed under the counseling section as well as under the About tab. We wanted to have both places just so if anybody was searching, it would be there. I'm going to go pretty quick. Under that counseling part, we have our curriculum guide. That will answer any questions that you have with our classes that we offer, the courses, graduation requirements. There's policies. Our curriculum guide is on there, and it's has tons of information. That is the spot where students will also request to visit their counselor. So you just fill out that information on the website, and they'll call you down. At Valley, we have 15 pathways. So like our automotive, our construction, we have our teaching pathway. So we have different career paths that you would be doing, and we have classes that align with that. And all of that information is on our website as well. So students, if you're interested in engineering, look at what classes we have to offer. If you're interested in aviation, construction, business, healthcare, like there's so much. Like our school offers so many opportunities for our students. So if you're interested in those, when you're doing your enrollment, look at those classes to say, hey, I want to take this class because I'm interested in this pathway. Okay? You don't have to stick with a specific one. If there's multiple pathways, take multiple different types of classes. But just know that that information is there for you. Okay, this part, I'm going to send this out. This just talks about the graduation requirements. You guys are freshmen, but know that what you do now counts, okay? These are the 6 broad categories with the pathways underneath. Now, it's more than 15 because I've added the opportunities that we have because we partner with WSU Tech and Butler and Hutch. So there's so many opportunities for our students to take as long as they're getting these core classes out of the way freshman year and you're getting the focus done and move on so that you can have your career exploration with your electives. Okay, so a couple things, I'm just going to sum it up. When you're taking classes, take them with a purpose. Don't just take a class because all your friends are taking it. Take it because you might be passionate. This is something you're interested in about. Opt for rigorous coursework, but the biggest thing here, maintain a balance. I've had so many students that have burned themselves out with all AP classes or tons of college credit classes. High school is supposed to be fun. A couple things to remember with that. Sorry, I'm going to go. Okay, a couple things with dual credit down the road because your sophomore year, there's going to be a couple classes that are available for sophomores for dual credit. A couple things to think about with the challenges. Some classes do have prerequisites. Taking too many dual credit classes. The rigor, they are next level courses. These are college classes. And so students take them thinking like, oh, I love Leduc. I'm going to take this automotive class. But it is, I mean, transaxle, transmission, and brakes, I think, are Gen Service 2 classes that they're going to be taking. So it is rigorous. College eligibility with athletics, if you are thinking about playing sports in college, if you take too many dual credit classes and you graduate as a freshman and a sophomore in college and not a freshman, it can mess with your eligibility and scholarships and things like that. So that's some conversations that we would be having earlier. And then also social emotional readiness. Parents, you know your kids, you would know best if this is something that is something they need to do now or wait until college. Okay. Last thing here, freshmen, this is the Google Classroom for your freshman class. This stays with you all 4 years, and it's all the information that you need. How many people are in this Google Classroom already? Are you guys in it? Okay. If not, take a picture of it now. This is the Google Classroom code, and then I have a picture of Ms. Danson, who is your freshman class sponsor. This is extremely important because you're going to get a lot of your class announcements on Google Classroom. Okay, I know that was a lot of talking. That's what they tell you not to do when you teach. But what questions do you have for me? Okay. If you're like me and you're driving home and you think, oh, I should have asked that question, email me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Students, you can come find me. I'm out and about everywhere. So, all right. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, well, you want to sit there?
Hey, Kristen.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Hey. Well, and it's between schedules, it's me and counselor and things, so we just expect it like it is. And a lot of what I do with like the dual credit and the WSU tech, it's stuff that has to be done over the summer. So I'm always like, oh, I feel bad for these kids, they don't, but.
No, she was fine with it,
Yeah.
but I felt bad for you.
Oh, no,
It
no.
was chaotic, but it was
Something, yeah.
so, okay, well, I just wanted to meet you, and if
Awesome.
you ever need anything,
Perfect.
there's problems with stuff, so,
All right.
let me know.
Thank you so much.
And then her little brother's a freshman, so.
Oh, perfect, perfect. I know when I saw you, I was like, oh, you guys don't have to be here.
Yeah, they didn't need to be here.
That's okay.
But not just seniors, I interjected.
EKG is another option, so we could look at enrolling for that, absolutely. And then I want to say for healthcare, that's pretty much all they would have, would be the healthcare and then the EMT. But yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be great. They don't have it open. As soon as it opens, which usually is mid to late October is when they start having it ready, then we can definitely do that. But yeah, right now it's all just the fall, so. Okay. Yep. Right? Oh, absolutely. No, I think that'd be great. So, perfect. Yeah, no problem. And are you going to the Shindig stuff now?
I already went.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I think the healthcare cost already covers the EKG.
Yeah, not EMT, sorry. Yeah, so you'll do, for just the healthcare block, you'll have CNA, is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, that's what
Okay, so CNA is first, and then it will be EKG. Do they do Medicare in that one? Okay, so those three, and then for EMT, they're all different classes for that emergency medical technician. So that